Have you ever had something happen to you that is so crazy that no one else believed it? Well, that's exactly what happened to Pi. He went through a very dangerous experience, and when he got back, the reporters asked him to talk about it, and his story was so different and so hard to believe that they told him that they wanted the real story, and they wanted the story that would be easy for them to understand. So, like a lot of different things, there's a lot of different ways to interpret the story, and the ways that I did are that he's not really scared to fight what he believes in, or to tell the truth, because he tells the story the whole time, and then once the reporters tell him that it's a wrong story, he follows the same storyline for the human one, but it's all he does is change the animals' names to the humans. So this experience changed his life forever. He won't ever live the same, and you can see that. And then, so there are a lot of messages in this book that I took from it. A lot of them can help us in everyday life. So there's like survival techniques, life experiences. So what I got from it is, again, telling the truth and to keep fighting are the two biggest ones that I got. And so he shows telling the truth when he writes, or when he's talking about this animal story the whole time. And I believe that that's the one that's correct, because he goes into so much detail with that. And then to keep fighting, because he could have given up like right when we got on the lifeboat, but he wanted to make it back to land, and that's what he did. I believe that the animal story was true that he tells, because he tells it so much in the story. He doesn't just say it at the end, and the end it's not a full story with the humans. It's just a little bit. So in the story, Pi goes into a lot of detail about the animals, and he says, I could see the top of his head, his back, his long tail, his ears lay flat against his head. I think that he wouldn't say these traits unless he was, this actually happened. I don't think he'd go into that much detail just because he's making up a story. So, and then he also says that he goes into a lot of training with Richard Parker and blowing the whistle and giving him meat, and he wouldn't really do this for the humans, because he doesn't want to train humans. So this makes a lot of sense to me, where his daily routine is always wants prayer, help feed Richard Parker, find Richard Parker, go and you need to train Richard Parker with the whistle and get meat for him and everything. And if it's just him and Richard Parker, then in the human story, it's just him. So for him to go in that much detail with his daily routine, it doesn't make any sense. So also in the book it says, at the zoo, the tigers and lions ate an average of 10 pounds of meat a day. So he says this while he's on the boat, and I don't think it's very reasonable to say this unless there's a lion or a tiger on the boat that is eating this much meat. It's not very, he wouldn't need to say that. So, and then by the end of the story, there's a lot of the reporters are telling him that that's the wrong story and it's not true, and they wanted the real story. So, and then he switches the story to the humans. So I think that him starting with the animal story and then the human story not being as detailed and being the exact same as the animal story, makes it believe that the animal story is more true. The human story might be true, because there's some points in the story that seem very real. Like he says that he was making noises, or Pi says that Richard Parker was making noises to him, like he was asking a question. So this could be in direct relation to the cook or his mother or someone talking to him, but in his mind it was just noises. In the second story, the reporters talking to the reporters with no animals. He follows the same storyline, but it says how there was no Richard Parker and Pi was Richard Parker. So this could happen. It could be just in his mind, so that the human story could be true. Pi's story wasn't believable because of the crazy events that went on in the thing, like with the floating islands and finding the teeth, and how the island changes at night that's crazy. Like if I was the reporter and he was telling me that right there, I would definitely not believe it. But since we're reading the story and there's more evidence that we can look back into instead of just hearing it right from him, I think we can find it more believable. But it's so hard to believe that it's like, I don't know, it's everyone's worst nightmare to be stuck on a boat out in the middle of nowhere with a tiger. So this, like when the reporters tell him no, that didn't happen, they tell him stuff like, your story's wrong, we want the believable story, the true story, and Pi has to change his story. And like I noticed how he kept the same story as the animals, so I think that definitely is a changer for it, where he is saying, yeah, my animal story is true, but the humans are just for your belief, and it's to tell you that all these events still happen, just changing it from humans to animals. And the fact that the reporters believed him once it was the human story, I don't know, it was kind of disappointing for me that they believed him then, but they didn't believe him when it was animals. Yeah, I like this book a lot, and I'd like to find more books like it.